We saw the servlet's life cycle, right? In the last class, we have gone through the servlet life cycle. So today, we'll see the servlets, how they will coordinate with each other, how servlets will share the request processing task. Okay. So for that, I'm going to demonstrate the flow. So let's take this sample flow. Okay. So we'll consider this sample flow. Just look at this flow once. Just go through this flow once. Just look at this flow. Yeah. You see, so if you go through this flow, hope you've just looked at it. Yes. You'll find that this is just a login request flow. That means when user places a login request, what exactly happens? So that is what we are looking at. Okay. So first of all, you will find that this login request will be intercepted by the login servlet. You see, we got a login page. Through this login page, the user will place a login request. User will place a login request. So, so the login servlet will intercept this request, and what it does basically, it will validate that user. How it will validate the user? It will check the credentials, user credentials, which are provided by the users, like password, username, and password. And if login servlet finds that the user is a valid user, it forwards the request to the account servlet. It forwards the request to the account servlet. And you see, the account servlet, you'll find that in turn, it will take that request, forwarded request from the login servlet, and it will display a home page. It will display a home page. Okay, where you'll have the customer details. That's it. Okay. Yes. Now, you see, we got one more thing. If that user is currently logged in, or if the user is not a valid user, if the login servlet, if it fails to validate the servlet, sorry, user, if the user is not valid user, then you'll find that the login servlet will forward the request to login page again. It will display the login page. It will display the login page again. Okay, so this is a flow which we have to implement. Now the main thing to concentrate here, okay, so most important thing which we need to concentrate here is the forwarding of request from one servlet to another servlet. Forward the request from one servlet to another servlet. That is important. Okay, how login servlet can forward the request to account servlet to another servlet, that is account servlet, and how the login servlet can forward or call that login page again. So these are the things which we will be concentrating here. Okay, yes, so we'll concentrate on these things. So let's start implementing that example. We'll implement it. Okay, so let's implement this flow. So first of all, you people tell me from where to start. So from where to start here? Yes. So we have to create a login page. That's right. So first of all, we'll start from creating the login page here. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm creating HTML page. So I'll call it as login HTML page. So I'll create a simple HTML page here. Okay. You see, so this is the HTML page. Yeah. Yes, Vidya. So you have just joined, right? Um, so you see, this is the flow which we are trying to implement now. Okay, this is the flow we are trying to implement, the login flow. So where users will place a login request through this login page. So login servlet will be intercepting the request, and it in turn forwards the request. If the user is a valid user, then it will forward the request to the account servlet. An account servlet will display that home page. And you see, if the login servlet finds that the user is not a valid user, then it will simply display the login page again. That's it. Okay, fine. So that is what we are trying to implement now. Yes, I'm sorry. So others, thanks for bearing. Okay, so this is the login page now. Let's try to create this login page. Yes. In this page, let me add the form. First, add a header, a line equal to center, login page. Then we'll add this tags dd. So I'll add a cell username, another cell, text username. Yes, that's it. Next, password. Password field. So now we have created two rows here, and we'll add a submit button. Okay, sorry, just a second. Submit, and value equal to login. Okay, so you see, this is the login page which you got here. Let me show you people how it looks like. Okay, so the login page. Yes. So next, we got this login page. Now, how do we handle this login form request? So what is needed for that? Um, yes. What's next? What are we supposed to do? Meanwhile, let me just brief Tarun about this. Hi Tarun, Naga Tarun. So I'm talking about this flow. So I'm trying to implement this login flow. Okay, that is what we are trying to implement here. Okay, yes. So in this login flow, you see you got a login page when it is submitted. So the login servlet will be handling this request and it validates that request. So if it finds that if the user is a valid user, then you see what it does here. It will forward the request to account servlet. It will forward the request to the account servlet. Okay. So the account servlet in turn will display that home page. And what if the login servlet finds that the user is not a valid user? Then it will again display the login page. So this is the flow we are implementing. Yes, fine. So now here, let's do one thing. We'll create this servlet. What is the servlet which you have to create? Login servlet. Okay. So all of you, let's do this. Now we'll create a servlet. You see, I'm using the servlet wizard here for this purpose. Login servlet. And I'll make this class extends generic servlet class. Yes. The URL, I'll make it login process here. Yes. That's it. So now we got this login servlet. Let's do one thing. Uh, we'll also create that account servlet. Okay. So login servlet will be in login servlet will be basically forwarding the request to the account servlet, right? Yes. So we'll try to create account servlet as well here. So for that, this is what I'll do. Servlet, account servlet. So I'll configure the URL as a account serve. Let's say for this account select the URL is account serve. I'll click on finish. Okay. Now we got account select also. So here you see the login HTML page. So when this login in this login HTML page, you see we got a form, right? Yes, we got a form. Now, how can we link this form to the servlet here? How can we link the form to the servlet? That is a question. Okay. So why I'm talking about it? Because here, okay, I'm sorry. I need to add a form tag. I didn't add it. Let me just quickly do this. So whenever this form is submitted, I want that login servlet to be invoked here. I want login servlet to be invoked. Okay. Yes, we have to use URL, right? So what to do? How to use that URL? Yes. So that servlet's URL, we have to assign it here. Login process. So login servlet's URL is login process. So which we need to assign it here. Okay. Yes. So that is what we need to do. Okay. Now this form is associated with login servlet because this login servlet's URL login process, we have assigned it to this form action. So whenever this form is submitted, so the login servlet will be invoked. Okay, fine. Now when that form is submitted, so what happens here? This servlet will be invoked. Now what we are supposed to do here in this login servlet, what do you people think? Yes. So we have to read that, okay, in order to validate the user, okay, authenticate the user, first of all, we need to read that details which are provided by the user, right? You got my point? Yes. So hope you people got it. Yes. Just a second. Just a minute. Just a minute, please. Yeah, I'm sorry. So how will you read this username and password here? how will you read that username and password? You see this form data, whatever the data we got here. So how will you read that form data here in the service method? Yes. Request dot get, just get, that's it. Request dot get parameter. Okay, request dot get parameter. So you have to pass the text field name, which is considered as a parameter. Okay, yes. Okay, so now this method will return that username and password is request dot get parameter password. Okay, so here, now we got the user supplied username and password. We got the user supplied username and password. So we have to validate this username and password. So how do we do that? How do we validate the username and password here? That's the question. Yes. What to do? So generally, how can we do that? Yes. No, no. In order to validate this user, first of all, you have to check this details. You have to check these details. Okay. Somewhere which are stored already. They should be stored somewhere in the database. Right? Yes. So this details, you'll find that already they should be stored in the database or somewhere. So then only we can cross check the user supplied details with the data, with the details which are stored in the database. Okay, yes. So that is how it works. So hope you people got it. You got it. The thing is here, as of now, I'm not going to use any database. So what I will do is simply I will configure that user details here itself in the map. I'll create a hash map object. Okay, I'll create a hash map object. Let me do this. Let's say user details. We'll create a hash map object. Okay, and I will initialize this hash map this way. Actually, we are supposed to store the database, sorry, user details like username and password in the database. But as of now, I'm not using the database. Instead, so I'm using the map here to store that username and passwords. Okay, so user details dot put, let's say Harry. So I'm adding entries. Basically a map is a collection of entries, right? Where each entry is a name value. Now in our example, you see the key will be the username and password will be sorry, will be the value here. Okay, that's it. Okay, yes, password is value, that's right. Okay, so hope you people got it. Yes. So what is the key is the username here and value is the password. Key is username. In the entry, key is the username and value is nothing but password. So instead of storing them in the database server, I'm just for time being, I'm storing them here. For time being, I'm storing them here. That's it. Okay. So this is our data store now. So this map itself is our data store. Yeah. This map itself is a data store for us. Okay. Now you see the user supplied details. The user supplied details. They are in this variables username and password. We have to check whether these details which are supplied by the user, which are stored in this variables username and password, whether they are available in this map or not. Whether they are available in the map or not. So that is what we need to check. Okay. Yes. So for that, I'll do this. All of you just keenly observe. So I'll check whether this user supplied username, whether it is in that map or not. Can you people tell me how can I search for this username in that map? How can I search whether this username is in the map or not? You know that method? Hope you people remember the method. Think about it. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Not filter. You know, now I have to recollect. I have to again make you people recollect that map concepts. Yes. Now you see, we got a username here, which is supplied by the user. So we have to check whether this username is in that map or not. So username in the map, what is it? It's a key. So we have to search for the key. So what you will do? How will you search for the key? In the map, contains method. Just contains or anything else? Contains key. Come on, you have to review a map concepts. So you see, what I will do is I'll use that method contains key. So I'll use that map object reference call contains key method and pass this username supplied by the user. That means we are searching for this username supplied by the user in the map. Okay. Yes. So hope you people got it. Yes. Now the contains key method, what it does, so if that username is found in that map, so it returns true. Okay, so if the username is found in that map, it returns true. That is what it does. Yes. Okay. Next, here, if the username is available, then what's the next thing we have to do? Can you people tell me? Come on, you have to improvise your programming skills now. So you should tell me. Okay, let's say if it returns true, that means your username is available. So in that case, what are we supposed to do? So we have to check for that password. That's right. So for that, you see, we have to read that password associated to this key from the map. You see, I'll pass that username. So we'll get the key associated to it. So what I will do is here, you see, um, so when I call this get method and pass the username, that means the key. So what exactly you're going to get here? You'll get the password, right? Now we have to check the password. We have to check whether this password which you got here, whether it is equal to the password supplied by the user. Okay, so this get method, now it returns the password based on this username which is stored in the map. Now that password we have to compare it with the password which is stored in the map. Okay, so hope you people got it. Yes. So if these two passwords are matching, that means user is successfully validated. Yes. If these two conditions are true, if this one is true and if this equals method returns true, that means user is successfully validated. User is a valid user. So then what we have to do here according to the flow? You see the flow and tell me. Yes. According to the flow. So what are we supposed to do? So we need to forward the request to the account select. Exactly. That is what we need to do. Okay. So this is very, very, very important. This is very, very, very important. So how this servlet can forward the request to the other servlet? That's the question. Okay, how this servlet can forward the request to the other servlet. That is where the servlet API, it provides an object called as request dispatcher. It provides something called as request dispatcher here. In the request dispatcher, you have two methods, forward and include. So you can use one of the methods here to forward the request to the other servlet. Okay, so you can use one of the methods here to forward the request to the other servlet. Yes. Let's use this request dispatcher now. So first of all, we have to obtain the request dispatcher object. So for this purpose, this is what you need to do. So through the request object, you'll obtain a request dispatcher object. Account serve is okay. So what I'm doing here, all of you, please make a note of this statement. You need to remember this. Okay. So this way, through the request dispatcher object, you will be obtaining through the request object. I'm sorry. In the request object, you got this method, get request dispatcher. So you have to call that method, get request dispatcher. Yes. So to this request dispatcher method, have you noticed it? So you're passing we are passing the URL of the servlet which you want to invoke. You're passing the URL of the servlet which you want to invoke. So we are passing account servlet here. Now, after obtaining the request dispatcher object, so you will use that request dispatcher object here to call the forward method. Okay, call the forward method this way. Okay, just obtaining the request dispatcher object is not enough. So you have to again pass the you need to pass the you need to call the forward method and pass the request and response objects. Okay, you need to call the forward method and pass the request and response objects. Yes. So hope you people got it. Yes. Okay. Now what happens? You see this servlet is passing the request and response objects as well when calling the forward method. Okay, fine. Now, for suppose here, if this condition fails, so what does that mean? If this condition fails, what does that mean? In the else part, what code we are supposed to write? If the first condition fails, okay, let's say if this condition fails, what does that mean? Yes, can you people tell me? Yeah. If that first condition fails, that means username itself is not available. Okay. So what we have to do here, so we have to call that login HTML page again. So the login HTML page should be displayed. That is what has to be done here, right? So how will you call the login HTML page? What to do? So we have to forward the request, but how will you do that here? Yes. Again, use request dispatch. Again, use request dispatch. So you see, request dispatcher, now request dot, sorry, request dot get request dispatcher login dot html. That's it. So request dispatcher forward, request dispatcher dot forward, pass a request and response object. But you know, if you want to call the HTML page, then the request dispatcher, there is more appropriate method than this, but we'll do it later. We'll see that later. You see, even if this else block fails, sorry, if this condition fails, then what does that mean? Can you people tell me what it indicates? It indicates that the password is wrong if this condition fails. If the first condition fails, username is invalid. If the second condition fails, password is invalid. It is wrong. So even in this case, what we have to do, call the login page. That's it. Okay. Yes. Fine. So hope you people got it. Yes. Okay. Okay. Fine. So this is what we'll do. Now you see, if everything goes fine, so that account servlet will be invoked, right? Now what are we supposed to do here in the account servlet? Can you people tell me by looking at this flow? It should display a home page, right? Yes. So that home page, I'm going to construct it dynamically. So though we'll not have any customer details here for time being, you have to bear with me. So I don't have any much such details. So but just we'll try to create a home page. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's right. Even you have to connect in the login page then. So because if you use database, the user credentials and all will be stored in the database, right? That is the next thing I'm going to ask you people to do the assignment, because already we saw the database concepts, and we from the servlets also I've shown you people how to connect to the database. Searching product records in the last class, if you people remember, we did that, right? Yes. So there I've used what is it? Your JDBC. Yes. Especially I've used DOs to interact with the database. So yeah. So at the end of the class, I'm going to give you people this task. But I'm giving you people task, but I'm not getting many responses. Okay, a few people are responding, but others still still they have to complete it. I'm sorry. So now this is a very simple page which I'm trying to create here. Okay, yes, fine. Now I'll do one thing here. Whenever this service method is called, I'll just print a message. Okay, let's say account select. And similarly, when this service method is called, I'll display login servlet. That's it. So that will come to know. Okay. Yes. So we'll test this code now. I'll deploy this application on the server. Once I'll review the flow, don't worry. Now I'll place the request for that account servlet. Okay, let's do that. So sorry, not account. I'll place a request for login HTML page. You see, we got the login page. So I will clear the console. First of all, let me clear the console. Okay. Just a second. Down. You got the server console. I'll clear it. Here, let's type this valid credentials. I'll type in valid credentials here. Okay. I'll click on login. Yes. You see, oops, I'm sorry. I did a small mistake. So I was supposed to display login solid here, and the other thing is here. I didn't close this. Sorry, pitch to. I closed it. Okay, here we didn't start it. Okay, so let me just refresh this project again. Now I'll access that login page. You see, now I'll clear the console down. You see the console is blank. Sorry, just a second. So I'll type in the valid credentials here, Harry and Harry123. Let's see. I'll click on login. You see, first the account select is invoked, which in turn it will call the account select, right? Yes, that's it. So this way here you'll find that we can forward the request from one servlet to other servlet here. Yes, we can forward the request from one servlet to other servlet. So using the request dispatcher, you see, now two servlets are responsible for processing this request. Two servlets are responsible for processing this request here. What are they? One is login servlet, the other one is account servlet. Now we saw that one servlet can forward the request to another servlet, right? One servlet can forward the request to another servlet. Yes. Yeah. So the account, so how the login servlet is calling the account servlet here, how the login servlet is calling account servlet. Using request dispatcher. using request dispatch. Request dispatcher is used. Fine. Now, actually, can't we use a single servlet to handle this request? What do you people think? Yes, you got the point here. Hope you people got this point. Hope you got the question. Okay. So first of all, hope you understood this question. So you'll find that we can use only one servlet to handle this request, right? Why we are creating two servlets here in this case? So why to create two servlets? Yes. Can't we use a single servlet here? Because this way we can share the request processing task here. So now you see more than one servlet is involved in processing the request. Yes. More than one servlet here is involved in processing the request. Yes. They can share the request processing task. They can share the request processing task. So that it will be easy for us to develop such servlets also. And you see, now we are able to divide the functionality. So we are able to divide the functionality here. we're able to divide the functionality. You see, now each servlet is responsible for a particular task. The login servlet responsibility is to validate the user. Once the login servlet is done validating the user, so the account servlet is supposed to it is supposed to display that home page, right? Account servlet is supposed to display the home page. Yes, this is how it works. Yes. So now, wherever you need this functionalities, we can use them individually now. Wherever you have to validate the users, we can call that login servlet. Wherever you have to display a home page, you can call that account servlet account servlet. Okay, that's it. So is it clear for you people? Any questions in this regard, please let me know. Processing time, I can't say it is reduced. Okay, you can't say processing time is reduced, but we got clear separation of concerns, so more reusability here. That is what I can say. Yes. So now you understood how the servlets can coordinate with each other through the request dispatcher, right? Yes. And one more important point which I would like to highlight here. Okay, let me tell you. You see, when this servlet is forwarding the request to the other servlet, you'll find that the servlet here, you see, while forwarding the request to the account servlet, it is also passing the request and response objects. That means these two servlets are sharing the same request and response objects. This login servlet is explicitly passing the request and response objects to the account servlet. That means account servlet is also using the same request and response objects which are used by the login servlet. Why these two servlets have to share the same request and response objects here? What do you people think? Yes. Why these two servlets are sharing the same request and response objects? Why that login servlet is explicitly passing that request and response objects to the account servlet? Because, okay, I'll tell you people. So the concept is simple. These two servlets are sharing the same request and response objects because here they both are processing the same client's request, right? These two servlets are processing the same client's request. You got the point? They are processing the same request, right? If they are processing the same request, that means because they both are processing the same client's request. Yes, that's the reason why they both they both need to share the same request and response objects. Yes, hope you people got it. Yep. Any questions? Okay, good. So I'll stop it here today. So in the next class, I'm going to show you people how the servlets can share the data. Okay. Yes. How these two servlets will be able to share the data. Not only this request and response objects, but they can share the data. And then I'll show you people another application for the servlets. Okay. I'll show you people another application for the servlets. That's it. Okay then. So that's all for today. For today. And please, all of you request you people to please be on time so that I need more time from now on. Okay, please make sure that you people are on time. Okay, Monday I can understand. So, but anyways, I'll wait for you people, but try to join. Okay, on time. Thank you all. Let's meet tomorrow at our regular time. Bye bye. Have a great day, all of you.